Nigeria's railways and locomotive transport has played an immense role in the country's socio-economic development. The railway system helped to open up the hinterland and connect it to the urban population while providing and maintaining impetus for foreign and domestic trade through agricultural and industrial development, as well as stimulating the commercial railway transport in the country. To achieve the tempo, the railway transportation had to be overhauled with standard gauge diesel-powered locomotive technology from China. The country's railway service, however, suffered major setbacks in recent times during the dark days and peak of terrorism, where criminal elements infiltrated its tracks and hijacked trains, leaving every media outlet in the country riddled with tragic headlines. Just recently, the Nigerian Railway Corporation announced the recommencement of 2 additional train trips on the Abuja-Kaduna train service rail corridor. This improvement by the corporation is to augment the inconvenience experienced as a result of a temporary reduction in train service for some time ago. Issues around this development are the basis for our conversation tonight on the program. I am your carrier, Clinton. Welcome to Nigeria Today. Joining me to discuss the issue is a legal practitioner and a transport consultant, Mani Ochubojo. Welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers.
You know, it's always a pleasure to have you, Mani.
So is it a pleasure for me to be here.
Okay, you had the introduction there. We talked about the additional schedule by the, the train service there. So what is your take on this, or how do you see the whole situation?
For a start, I think we can now finally say Happy New Year to Nigerian Railway Corporation. I say Happy New Year because the year started very badly for them. Just at the time we were sending text messages early January saying Happy New Year to our friends. And I think by 7th or so, there was terror in Edo, and everybody froze. You couldn't send a Happy New Year message to a railway friend of yours to feed it. I hope he joins us.
Just as you're saying that, just hold on, we'll get back. Let's welcome via Zoom the Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Engineer Fidet Okiria. Welcome, sir, to Nigeria Today. Okay, we just like
yes.
you were saying there.
We can finally say Happy New Year to Fidet and to members of our friends and colleagues who are in the railway community. Now, the announcement said recommencement, that they are pleased to announce. So we are happy with them. It's a joy for us who are rail enthusiasts and advocates of a better railway system. So we're also pleased that the services have increased. Before now, there were suspended services. And after the suspension, they started skeletal service, even in their own words, that skeletal service. And after the skeletal service, they start having like 2 trips. From the 2 trips, it's now increased to 4. And I think that's a wonderful improvement. We salute them, and we hope that it will get to their peak period when they were doing about 8 trips in a day.
Okay, Engineer Fidet, tell us more about the additional train trips and why you think this is the right time for the addition. So, you know, we do apologize for that. There was a network hitch there. So, as we're talking money, you know, you talked about there's a new kind of, we can now say Happy New Year.
Oh, like yes. You rightly said. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Now,
oh, yes.
How do you think we can sustain this? I would say it's a feat. Because coming from the several attacks and the commencement, we had a derailment and all of that. So how can we sustain this and, of course, improve on this?
How to sustain it, for instance, is making sure that the services continue to run regardless of the setbacks. Making sure that the training and retraining of the staff continue. Making sure the safety mechanisms put in place, some of which we don't need to discuss on television, need to be maintained and improved upon. I am privy to some of the safety mechanisms they put in place. A simple one is that if you don't have a national identity number, you don't have a ticket. So they know who buys the ticket and who comes on the railway line. When the last terrorism, no, the first one of 28th of March 2022 happened, the railway authorities, Nigerian Railway Corporation, could not account for 146 passengers out of 362. I'm not talking of those that died or the 60 that were hijacked. So now they know each and every person that buys their ticket. They have their DNA, they have their fingerprints, and I think that's an improvement. Secondly, I noticed that they are beginning to make money from goods and services, cargo. Before now, Nigerian Railway, particularly the Abuja-Kaduna line, were depending largely on passengers. It is good. It is good in the sense that it is rare for a railway line to be sustained on passenger service. No. In fact, in most foreign countries, even here in Nigeria, we call it public service obligation because it's almost a loss enterprise. You try to segregate the two services, the freight services and the passenger service. In separating the two, you make sure the bulk of the money you have invested in is recouped from the freight services. Incidentally, from last year to now, in spite of the difficulties Nigerian Railway Corporation are having, they've been making an improved gain on their cargo services. Cargo. Yeah, there are losses in passenger service. Losses because of fear of terrorism, loss of confidence in the service, fear of hijack, and of course, the limited number of service. They reduced the service to about 2 slots. At one time, they were doing 8 trips. You reduce it to 2, of course, there will be losses. So they lost about, I think, 1.1 billion naira in reduction of their service.
That's a lot.
Oh, yes, it's a lot of money. I'm not talking of the losses that the economists will call the multiplier effect. You know, in fact, if you speak with Fedet will be the first person to tell you that don't worry about our own loss. We have lost 1.1 billion. Yes, our revenue have dropped, mostly on passenger earning. But you should worry more about the businesses and the economy it impacts upon adversely. You know, the corridor between Abuja and Kaduna doesn't end in Kaduna. It extends to Zaria, it extends to Kano, it extends to Karanamuda, it extends to Sokoto, it extends to Zamfara. That entire axis. So most goods that emanate from Abuja, they don't end in Kaduna. Most passengers that take off from Abuja, they don't end in Kaduna. They are leaving Abuja for business in Zamfara, in Kebbi, in Kano, in Katsina, up north. So that opportunity cost, as economists will call it, may even be times 4 or times 5 of the 1.1 billion we're talking about right now. So it's a big loss. It's a very big loss. So sustainability, I think, is encouraging, answering your question again, in the sense that Nigerian Railway Corporation are beginning to make money from cargo, which means maybe the Dangotes and the other industrial bodies and others who ship their goods through railway are beginning to have more confidence in Nigerian Railway Corporation. And maybe by and by, we'll begin to see less trailers on our high road. We'll begin to see less tankers on our high roads. And I'm afraid there is what I may call a theory, whatever I want to call it, that some economic interests don't want to see Nigerian Railway succeed. Well, I think there are also some political interests. Because if you look at the various attacks on Nigerian Railway, they happened in January. January 7th, January 22nd, January 27th. All of that, I think part of it may even be politically inspired. It's a form of thuggery. Some people just want to attack the railway in case it becomes what I'll call a campaign issue. Now, there are those that believe haulage services feel that railway is a competition. But then it's a bad sense of economics. It is not really a competition. It's not really a competition in the sense that right now, the road network of Nigeria is over 200,000 kilometers.
Just hold your thought there, Mani. We'll take a break right now. Please don't go away. We'll be right back after the short break.
So, the implementation of the ruling is also dependent on another aspect or another arm of government.
Nowhere in the world will allow under digital economy for banks not to be dispensing domestic currency in that economy.
What will make this one different? We want to know what they do as occupation. All of these are attributes that are questions have been designed to investigate.
In a few days to come, you see that we are all around their own crannies and everywhere in Nigeria, telling people to cooperate.
Welcome to Nigeria Today. Welcome back. It is still Nigeria Today, and my guest is here with me, Mani Ochuwoju, and hopefully we'll be joined by the Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Engineer Philip Okeria. So, Mani, we're talking about the bad economics, and now I just want to ask, before you go further, now, how well, you talked about some of the technology they've adopted in the railway. Now, how well do you think we've adopted this modern technology to improve security? You know, a lot of persons are still kind of, let's say, scared to use the train service because of the incidents that we experienced in the past. So how well, from what you've seen so far, how well have we adopted? Do we still need to do more in that area?
From what I know, there has been a reasonable improvement on the security architecture that have been put in place. The train now have what I'll call eyes. It can see far away, you know. Well, I won't say the mileage, but it needs to see more. Yeah? It needs to see more. 2, we need to deploy devices that will monitor the track 24/7. Right now, the monitoring is limited. So, to that extent, I think Nigerian Railway Corporation, I'm sure, with proper funding, I believe they will do more. Because I know when there were discussions about the security gadgets to be put in place in the last regime, they were concerned, oh no, it costs 2 billion, oh it costs 2.4 billion, oh, you know, and all those usual budgetary squabbles between different departments. You know, the Ministry of Transport will push it, this will push it, Vice President will say no, and all of that. I don't need to say more, but at the end of the day, I recall the then minister was saying, this will cost lives. If we don't budget sufficiently for it, it will cost lives. Anyway, the rest, as I say, is history. We're on our way, but we're not there yet. And we praise Nigerian Railway Corporation for little progress made.
Now, do you see the possibility of a hydrogen fuel hybrid engine trace in Nigeria one day?
Yes, I do. I do because we are now at a season of energy transition globally with the whole issue of climate change. It is now a universal policy for a shift in cleaner energy. And Nigeria have officially committed to a cleaner energy. So our oil and gas, particularly oil, may get to a point where we'll be depending less and less on it. Presently, there are moves to make our cars multi-energy hybrid, where we have gas connected to it. That is an example. If our cars can start using hydro, our rail, even now, can start using electricity, and by can use gas, and by can use hydro. I recall last year, the Nigerian Railway Corporation had to increase their fare singularly because the price of diesel went up, which is rather paradoxical.
But I will just you just hold your thought there.
Okay,
I
thank you.
want Engineer Okiria to share his thoughts with us. Engineer Okiria, tell us more about the additional train trips and why you think the time is right for this addition.
People are talking about providing service, and we've been part of government to ensure that Nigerians don't feel the hardship of the subsidy removal. We have to quickly introduce another rate. We had issues because don't forget that the bandit attack on the train affected the train. We have put them back, and after we also have we had an accident at Abuja that affected the diesel multiple unit. We are happy to announce that they are all back, but because of not wanting to run too late in the evening because of the insecurity situation we had on, we have tried to plan our timetable so that the train will arrive their various destination at least by 18 hours, that's 6 p.m. So we know that the fuel subsidy removal, we need to support government to achieve their aim. One of the palliatives to have a peaceful way of moving and a reliable and cheaper rate of moving. Since they move a lot of people at the same time, and where we are lucky to have the rate system, we try to introduce more service so that our people can enjoy the benefit of having the rail infrastructure in place. That's what led us to introduce another return trip, that is 2 trains on Abuja Kaduna train service. While maybe the next 2 weeks, the Tape Warri will also increase that, and Lagos Ibadan. It's not easy because of the diesel consumption. Luckily enough, the price of diesel is coming down, and we feel that it's convenient for us now to introduce more train service.
Okay,
we just want to support the government to realize their objective.
Engineer Okiria, I'm very happy you talked about the reduction in the price of this. I was asking if there's any increment in the fare of the railway transport, because the Minister of Transportation last year during the inspection before the resumption of the train service the end of the year, that's after the attack in March, mentioned that there will be increment in the transport in the railway in the fare. So is there any form of increment now that you've added two more trips?
No, we did not add, but before the implementation, before we commenced the service, we increased the fare a little bit, but now presently we are not doing that because we have to see a way of helping the Nigerian people and the government to make people be at peace. We are just trying to ensure that we'll be able to buy the diesel and provide the service at no extra cost that we are doing before. before now, we are buying diesel close to 1,000 naira per liter. But as we speak, because we now have our diesel dispenser, we can go to the depot and leave diesel and also buy at the depot price. So it has impacted on our service, and the cost of us getting diesel has also reduced because of the tank. We have a 20,000 liter tank that we can take to the depot every other 3 days and get the diesel at a cheaper rate. So that is what is encouraging us to put in more service. We don't hope to increase the service, the cost or the fare right now, as far as we can meet up with the cost of running, because we are a part of government and we are to provide a service that is convenient for Nigeria and to impact on the people. The palliative they are talking about could be through the rail by providing regular and frequent service. It could be one of the palliative, as is done in other parts of the world, the developed world. So we are targeting that so that we can meet up our responsibility as a real Nigerian Railway Corporation.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. That's good news. But Engineer Kyria, because of the incident that happened in the past, you would agree with me that a lot of passengers, their kind of morale was kind of dampened. I wouldn't say a little bit, but was really dampened because of the incident we had in the past, the attacks and the derailment. Now, how well have you adopted the modern technology to improve security on our rail tracks? Yeah, I mean, as a measure to instill confidence in the people.
So after that incident, I think the Nigerian government took it up, not just the rail system, but came up in force. We've had a meeting with the National Security Advisor, the Minister for Defense, the IG, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, and the Chief of Air Staff. And as we speak, there was a set of committee set up to ensure that rail travel is safe. And that committee have resolved on certain quick win things we can do to ensure that the rail service, that one was carried out before we commenced the train. We have little technology in place, and we have a lot of security men on ground. So I'm not in a position to disclose that details so that we don't expose this thing. But what we have done, we have improved on the security. I would not say just the rail, but the security architecture and the various security agencies can now play 1 or 2 roles in ensuring not the train, the track, and the passengers are protected and they arrive at various destinations safe.
Thank you very much, Engineer Kyria. So, Mani, you had a lot of things he said there. So, yes. What's your final thought? What would you say, or what should they do more to give us, improved service?
Some of what he said, I'm in agreement with him. Mm-hmm. I'm aware of some of what they were doing as regards security, mm-hmm. and I know because of the sensitivity of it, he's not in a position to disclose the details, and I wish they would do more. And I also wish, too, that the authorities will give them more material support, mm-hmm. because Nigerian Railway has suffered. It's not just a managerial issue. There are also concerted, and I keep saying this, it may sound like conspiracy theory, there are concerted, devious external efforts to frustrate Nigerian Railway. I think we should keep an eye on that and try to support them. So that, because it's a national asset. It's a national asset at the end of the day.
And we really need it now, you know, with the removal of fuel subsidy.
Precisely, precisely. And then, of course, we need the rail tracks to be expanded. Okay. We still have about 4,500, 5,000 kilometers.
Thank you very
Let's
much.
increase it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's it on Nigeria today. We want to thank our guests for sharing their thoughts with us. The Managing Director, Nigerian Railway Corporation, Engineer Philip Kiria. Thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you, and God bless you. I appreciate it.
A legal practitioner and transport consultant, Mani Ochuboju. Thank you very much for your sharing your thoughts.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
And to our viewer, thank you so much for always being a part of this. Remember, the program Nigeria Today airs weekday at 7:30 on NTA News 24. You can also watch this and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am your carrier, Clinton, saying goodbye for now.